Welcome everyone to our College Success Workshop. My name is Rodney Meeker with College Planning Solutions. Our big goal for today is to take you from the 3,000-foot view way up in the clouds where things are a bit confusing and bring you down to the 300-foot view where things become more clear about the college process. We want to help you save on paying for college, and we want to make sure your student ends up at the right best fit college. Best fit means academically, socially, geographically, and financially. And we want to show you how to save money on the financial aid process so you as parents, do not go broke, bankrupt, or derail your own retirement. My mission today is to talk about how to be ready, not only in the college process, but also the financial aid side of college and what to expect. Listen, folks, I know you see all kinds of information and ads out there about all these so-called tricks to save on college. I'm not going to waste your time to tell you about the few things that might give you the slightest of savings, and I do mean slight. And that's what I see everyone out there promoting just to try to get you as a client so they can manage your money and sell you financial products. That is not what we are about. We are a true education consultant practice that help in literally every aspect of the college process, from academics to financial direction. And that is where you will truly save on college. If there is a way, a strategy, or loophole that will save you money, we will by all means show you how. The more prepared you are and the more time you have to be prepared, you'll be in the best position to make great decisions. Just a little bit of background about myself. I've been helping families with college planning since 2006. I have over 20 years experience in the financial field, as well as working with students and student athletes as a coach. I'm an active member of NCAG, and NCAG is one of the top national professional organizations for education consultants. Over a year ago, they asked me to be on their board of directors, and one of my roles is to help educate new and old members of all the nuances of the college planning world as things change, as they often do. I'm very active in the volunteer world, and I thoroughly enjoy that. And when talking about being active, I participate as a runner and also as a triathlete. Lastly, I'd like to mention my two beautiful daughters who are now in their late teens and early 20s. These are two photos of my daughters when they were younger and growing up quickly as time does fly by. You know, I'm a parent just like the rest of you. And I'm sure you've noticed that your kids grow up really fast, and before you know it, they'll be off to college, which is why time is of the essence to get started and to get it right. Folks, education is expensive. Therefore, the knowledge you're going to receive today will be very valuable. The college process is also very stressful. It's a stressful time. So for today, let's try to relax and learn to be ready. Highlights I really want you to understand is the true cost of college, where to find the real money, lowering your EFC and strategies to lower that expected family contribution, understanding the financial aid formulas, and the difference between public and private colleges. Folks, I'd like you to do a little exercise with me. I know this might seem silly, but I have always taught better when being visual, and I have always learned better when things are visual. So for the next few minutes, please close your eyes, and I want you to visualize what the best outcomes for college for your child or children would be. What is it that you want that makes them happy and you happy? Maybe it is your child gets into all the colleges of their choice. Maybe it is that they have a phenomenal college experience and make lifelong friends and connections that help to propel them into great careers. Maybe all of that happens and they end up with zero student loan debt. Maybe all that happens and you as parents don't have to sacrifice. So visualize what that success and happiness is for you. Now, I want you to visualize the concerns that you might have that you feel are preventing that happiness and success from happening. Maybe it is that you don't understand the financial aid process. Maybe you feel that certain colleges are out of reach financially. Maybe you are completely lost of how the process works and don't know where to start. Maybe your student doesn't know what they want to do for a career and what they should be studying. Maybe you and your student don't know what colleges they should be looking at. Maybe, just maybe, it's all of those things. Now, I want you to visualize again the happiness and the success, and visualize it's right at the end of the path or right at the end of the road for you. And you could see it. It's just there. You just can't reach it. Then visualize this invisible wall of sorts. And it's all those concerns that prevent you, that wall is all those concerns that prevent you from getting to that success and that happiness. But you could see it, it's just out of reach. Now, maybe you try to go all the way around to the left of the wall and get to that success, but no success. And maybe you try to go all the way around to the right side and still no success. You just can't get through that invisible wall. Then imagine that I give you the magic hammer that you can use to break that invisible wall, and you can walk right down that path to have all of that happiness and success that you are seeking. Now, I want you to keep all of those visions in mind as I show you how we have helped hundreds and hundreds of families succeed and save money. Okay, so has anyone penciled out the cost of attending college lately? Wherever your student goes off to college, it's going to be expensive. So I want you to understand 3 types of colleges to know about. And that would be your in-state public university, your average private university, and the elite private colleges. So for the examples I'm going to show you here today is here in Ohio, where I live, I'm going to show you the state university is Kent State University. John Carroll will be the average private university, and Case Western Reserve University would be that elite university. I'm going to show you the average cost. And by the way, the average cost includes everything. That means the tuition, the room and board, the average book fees at that school, the average lab fees, even down to the average parking pass it costs to have your student have a car on campus, right? So everything involved. So the average in-state university is right around $28,000. That average middle of the road private college is around $60,000. And that elite school is about $72,000 on average. I will tell you that more and more elite private colleges are $80,000 and more nowadays. And that's per year. The insanely rising cost of college compared to other areas of our life that we know that have rising costs, such as healthcare. I mean, we all complain about healthcare rising costs. And if you see here in this slide, from 1978 to now, it's up 634%. But look at college. It's double that. It's 1,200% increase. And college continues to rise on average 5 to 7% each year. So just as an example, again, let's go back to that in-state state university and see what it actually is going to cost. The starting point is around $28,000, as I said. But according to the Department of Education, it takes on average 5 to even 6 years to get that 4-year degree. And as I said, the average increase is about 5% each year in tuition hikes. So over the first 4 and even 5th year, we're talking about $155,000. Now, that's for the in-state state universities. Imagine the private colleges that are double and nearly triple the cost of a state school. Now, is this the true cost of college? Obviously, you can say that's a trick question. But have you saved $155,000 for college? We understand that life is expensive and life happens, which is why the average family typically only has $5,000 saved for college. So if you have to borrow, what happens is interest will start adding from day one. Payments are deferred until 6 months after graduation, but that interest is going to grow. And when you're talking about $155,000, it's going to be about $16,000 in deferred interest. So let's add this up. Your base of $155,000 plus that $16,000 in deferred interest. You put that all together after graduating, you consolidate that into a loan, typically a 10-year loan. And you're going to have additional interest accrual. Often about 6% would be an average. So that's going to put you at about $228,000. Now, is this the true cost of college? Well, who is going to make these payments? Well, of course, your student is going to make those payments, and that's going to be very expensive. In this example, you're talking about almost $1,900 a month for 10 years in student loan payments. Add to that, they're going to want to start their life. They're going to need somewhere to stay. In 2019, the national median apartment price was $1,100. So you add that and potentially maybe a car payment. It's going to be very expensive. So you can always extend the term of that loan to lower the payment. So if you extend it out over 30 years to bring that payment down to about $1,000, we still have to talk about adding more interest over 30 years in interest accrual. So now what's going to happen? What is the true cost of college? Now we're talking about $369,000 to get that 4-year degree. Remember, we're talking about a in-state public university, which is the least expensive of the 3 scenarios. And that's also if you pay full price and you do not utilize any scholarships or any other free money. By the way, those are big areas that we help our students and our families help to find free money and scholarships and discounts as well. But you're looking at $369,000 for a 4-year degree. That's probably going to take maybe 5, even 6 years to get. I'm here to help make sure your student won't be drowning in student debt their entire working lifetime like this guy. Also, how about families who have more than one child in college? How are they going to afford college and at the same time continue to save for retirement? We all have the same challenge. How are we going to send our child to the college of their dreams? How are we going to do that without sabotaging the family budget? And as important as both of those are, how will we finance college without delaying or derailing our own retirement goals? Where can you find help? Well, I'll cover these important slides here in the coming slides. No, I love this quote. It's not what we don't know that hurts us most. It's what we think is true that just isn't true. I'm going to say that again. I want you to pay attention. It's not what we don't know that hurts us most. It's what we think is true that just isn't true. Some mess that I like is that athletes get full rides, or if I commit to one school, they're going to commit to me. But I'm going to tell you this story. I call this the Ohio State story. It's about committing to a school. So let's say that little Johnny, since he was a little boy, always wanted to go to Ohio State. Now he's grown up. He's a teenager. He's going into his senior year. Eventually, he's going to apply to schools. And he says, I'm only going to apply to Ohio State because that's the only school I want to go to. And that's what little Johnny does. He applies to Ohio State. He gets accepted, and he did not apply to any other schools. Well, here's the big mistake that he's going to see, is that when Ohio State sees who he applied to, nobody else, and by the way, colleges do see other colleges that you apply to, when they see that he's applied to nobody else, they really know that they have him, meaning they know he is going to show up in the fall. And they also know there's no reason they need to incentivize him and give him a good financial aid package to show up in the fall. So oftentimes, if you don't have the right mix or the right number of colleges, you are really shooting yourself in the foot, and you're probably going to overpay for college. So we always work with our students to make sure they have a really solid list of colleges and comparable colleges, so that way this doesn't happen. Oh, and by the way, number 7, I love that one. Mom and dad will just take care of it. So where do I find scholarships? What are merit-based and need-based scholarships? Am I too late in this process? All important questions and answers to have, and we can help with that. So where is the the real free money at? So where it's at is at the colleges. The colleges have it, and they will give it, over $400 billion. We can help you find out which colleges have the most free money and which colleges do the best job at giving that free money. This is a great article giving proof to the previous slide. I know it's from 2008, but it's more true now than it was back then. I'll highlight the first 3 sentences here, talking about using their endowment money to buy the desirable student mix. You can see they talk about that. It says by manipulating the amount we pay, we can just buy the right combination of student talent in our student body. It goes on to say if we need more women in certain areas, we can use our aid funds to buy more talented women. If we need football players, we can buy those. If we need minority students, we can buy the mix that we want. If we need a number of less wealthy students, we can buy just the right number. And if we need engineering students, we can pay just enough to attract them. They do this because they want to have the perfect, diverse student population, and because they have the money to do this. So there are a lot of key factors here. These are certainly some of the key factors. We know as adults that we need to market ourselves when we want to get that quality job or that next best job. Well, it's no different with our kids trying to get into the best colleges and to get the most amount of free money that those colleges have. So we're going to help your students to achieve these goals. And the more competitive that the schools are, the more that the students applying to those schools start to look the same, because they all have really good GPAs, ACT, SAT scores, they're in sports or extracurricular activities or in drama or band. They really all start to look the same. We need to help the students stand out and stand apart from the rest of the competition. And we work really well with our students, and we work extensively at building their academic resume so they do stand out. In the previous slide, I mentioned positioning your student correctly and the student resume. Here's a list of many areas that we focus on with the students to help them stand out. Now, to take advantage of the many ways you see here, how we can help your student, be sure to click on the link below the screen here, below the video, so that way you could set your free initial consultation, and we'll help you understand how we do that. So this might be the biggest secret that nobody knows about. It has to do with negotiation. I say it's kind of like buying a car. So you would never walk onto a car lot and tell the salesman, yeah, I'll just pay sticker price. No worries about negotiation. Just tell me what the sticker price is and I'll write you a check. Of course you wouldn't do that. We know that the car buying process involves negotiation. In fact, the car dealership has that car marked up enough, they have enough margin in there because they know they're going to have to negotiate with you to come down to a price you're happy with, and yet they still make some money. The same process, but we don't want you to pay full sticker price. We want you to know how to negotiate, and we do that successfully with our families. We like to use good financial aid awards from one school to get another school to raise their offers. It's called leveraging. And by the way, at the bottom here, you can see never settle for the first award given. So here's a really good example of a successful negotiation of a financial aid award for one of our recent students. So our student originally got this award on April 8th, and you can see 2 nice scholarships there that add up to $21,000, but we weren't happy. We thought we could maybe do a little bit better for them. So we appealed to the school. About a week later, you can see on April 15th, the new award comes back and they gave an additional grant. Now, a grant is free money that you never have to pay back. And that grant was worth $14,000, an additional $14,000 than they originally got. But we didn't stop there. You can see just below there, you can see there are 2 student loans totaling $5,500. Now, we wanted to try and do better than having that student take on student loan debt. So we appealed another time. And this next slide, you're going to see a screenshot from an email from the Dean of Admissions, reviewed the appeal again, and decided to wipe out the student loans and give another grant of free money in place of that. You can see she says here that She gave $5,000 in grant money from her discretionary funds that total a total of $20,000 over 4 years. So let's just recap what happened. So Lily initially got an award, a good award, for $21,000 in free money. But after 2 appeals, we got an additional $19,000 in free money and helped her to wipe out $5,000 of student loan debt. Now, Lily has $40,000 in free money each year. And what we increased for her was $19,000 a year over 4 years. So we helped her get an additional $76,000 in free money over 4 years and wiped out $20,000 of student loan debt that she would have had. Now, you remember in this screenshot from the dean in that email, she said that that money came from her discretionary funds, that additional $5,000. Well, let me tell you how that happened. Let me give you a scenario of, let's use little Johnny again. So little Johnny applies to school, gets accepted, and the school's working at the financial aid package, and they say to themselves, you know, we could probably give $25,000 in free money to little Johnny. And before we do that, let's first give them an award of $15,000 just to see if they'll bite on that. So they send it out. Little Johnny's family looks it over. They don't know what a fair award is. They don't know if it's good or bad. 15,000 seems like a lot, so they accept that. And they also don't know that they can appeal, so they just accept the 15,000. So what happened was the school just kept $10,000 that they were willing to give. Now they're going to put that in their discretionary fund pot. Now imagine that they do this for hundreds, maybe thousands of students each year, depending on the size of the school. And they're going to use that money. But what's going to happen is they're going to use that money for other families, other students that they need to entice to come to the school. Or maybe other families that are working with somebody like us that knows the appeal process and they need to give more money to that student. Well, good for that student, bad for little Johnny, because that extra $10,000 that went to somebody else was really his if he knew how to get it. So this is a perfect example of how this happens every single year. And we're here for our families every single year in this process. So the federal and state side of things, there's not a lot of money, a lot of free money there, but there are some. So there's the Pell and SEOG grants, but those are for lower income families. Work study is getting a job on campus, and that's paid by the college. And the Stafford, Perkins, and PLUS loans, obviously those are loans and they have to be paid back. Now, you see where it says special programs in state for in-state residents. There are loan forgiveness programs available from time to time when there are certain shortages in areas, maybe shortage of teachers or minorities in certain fields, or maybe health professions in certain areas of a state. Those do exist. So I got an email a few months ago from one of our former clients, actually the student of our former client, and he is now a physician's assistant, and he is getting all of his student loans forgiven because he is working in inner city Pittsburgh, and they have an agreement that if he stays there for 10 years, then they will wipe out all of his student loan debt. So these programs do exist from time to time. You just have to be aware of them. How much money do they actually have? So the federal and state combined, they have maybe about $236 billion, but compare that to the $400+ billion at the colleges. The colleges are the ones that really have that free money, and we show you how to find that money at those schools. It all starts with filling out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. All money flows through the form. Errors can cost you lost aid, lost free money, and errors can cost you lots of time. And it's also first come, first serve. So what I mean by errors, FAFSA themselves says that the average, that 74% of parents on average make mistakes in the FAFSA. And why is that so important? Well, if you make a mistake, you get kicked out of line, they send it back to you, you have to fix your error, then you get yourself back in line. What FAFSA also tells us that process, lost time, is about 4 to 6 weeks. Now that's important because if you're missing out on 4 to 6 weeks when the free money is first come, first serve, you can find yourself in a position that by the time you get yourself back up to the front of the line, there could be no money left to give or a lot less money to give. So you could end up costing yourself tens of thousands of dollars in lost aid. Now, again, we help all of our families do the FAFSA and even the CSS profile. That's the other form that the private colleges, many of the private colleges use. And we help you with that each year while you're working with us and while you are, your student is in college. We want to make sure that gets done right for you. So here's some of the formulas you need to know about. You might want to take some notes here. So it's not super difficult, but COA stands for cost of attendance. Expected family contribution is that EFC. What that is when you fill in all of the information to FAFSA, it will spit back this number to you, and that's the expected number that you can pay for college. That number gets sent to all the colleges that you apply to, so that's their starting point. So the cost of attendance minus your EFC equals the need. The need is the gap. And some schools do a phenomenal job at helping you when you have need. Other schools do a horrible job, quite honestly. Again, we help our families know which schools do a really good job and which schools do a horrible job. It's important to know that ahead of time. So let's use an example. A certain college costs $55,000. The family's EFC is $21,000. The difference is the need, the gap, which is $34,000. So if we can lower the EFC, what we can do is essentially increase financial aid eligibility. So for this example, if we lower your EFC, increase the need, at those colleges that do a really good job at meeting your need, they end up giving you more free money, and that ends up meaning less out of your pocket that you have to pay for. So as a little recap here, colleges give you money based on your need, and if we can show an increase in your need, then you have better chances of getting more free money and less money out of your pocket. Big mistake I talk about. Do not pick colleges based on price tags, because you'll often find that you can go to expensive colleges for about the same cost as your local public school. Let's see a really good example of this. So a private school, it costs about $50,000. The family's EFC is 17. The need, that gap, is 33%. Now, many of the private colleges meet almost 100%, or they will meet 100% of your need. And of the help that they're going to give you, they're about 85, 90, or even close to 100% of that need is met in gift aid, which again is free money. So in this scenario, if you have a need of $33,000 and they're helping so well, you can see that they're going to give you about $28,000 in free money. Now compare that to the local public university. That costs a lot less, about half, but the EFC is also still the same, and the need is only $9,000. But typical public universities, they don't really do a very good job at meeting your need, and they don't do a very good job at giving free money, which means in this scenario, they're really only giving you a little over $2,000. So what do you actually pay at each school? Your real cost at each school. So at that private school, you can see your real cost is only around $21,000, $22,000. And at that public school, you can see your real cost is about $23,000, $24,000. Over 4 years, you can see you're paying much more at the public school that looked like it was going to be a lot cheaper, but it's not true. And this, we could do this match up school after school after school, and this scenario plays out like this most of the time. This is a really good example of what we call the true cost college comparison. It's also part of the college money report that we have all of our families have access to. And what that is it's going to give you the cost of attendance at every school, what your EFC is. So we're going to run the EFCs for you to let you know what you look like at these schools, show you what your need is, how well or not how well the school does at meeting your need, depending on the schools, and ending with what to expect your true cost would be at that school. Now, our software even estimates what scholarships your student would be eligible for based on their GPA, their test scores, and what they want to study. And it's really nice to see all this side by side by side. Now, to get that true cost comparison, and to get your college money report, please click on the button below the video and you can schedule your free consultation. And what we can do is see how you look at any and all the colleges that you have an interest in. And by the way, you want to be doing this well ahead of applying to colleges because you don't want to be surprised what some of these schools would look like. You know, nowadays with the cost of 1 year of college being so high, what we once thought was making too much money to receive aid, now it just really isn't true. So this was a Google search result that I did over this last weekend, August 27th, 2022. I know it's a little bit small to see there, but in that little red box I highlighted, I typed into Google college scholarships. And the results you can see says 1.67 billion results. That's billion with a B. Now, do you really want to spend your family time sifting through nearly 2 billion results and getting lost in the different search engines? And by the way, would you even know what all those the true opportunities are in those 2 billion results? So we have phenomenal software that you have access to and we use on a regular basis with our families and students to help you search for all the best scholarships at the colleges and even out of the colleges. So the private money that's out there as well. And this is going to eliminate headaches and it's going to save you hours and hours and hours. So what are your options? Well, you can do this all by yourself. You can ask somebody else to help you, maybe friends that's been through the process before because you think they have the experience, but do you really know if they did it right? Or you can just do nothing and hope that it all works out. Well, I was once told many, many years ago that crossing your fingers and hoping is really not a sound plan. Now, you can work with us. We have deep experience. Our knowledge is deep. Our commitment and our passion is deep and certainly really unmatched by anyone else out there. Some of the results that you can expect for your initial family consultation, and if you're working with us and working with our team, we can show you what your college needs and financial needs are, and we can show you what you look like in the EFC, FAFSA, CSS profile calculations. We want you to know what this looks like ahead of time before you're applying to colleges, again, so there's no surprises. Show you which colleges give more free money and match up with your student. True cost of college picture, your college money report. We really get into depth on giving your student all the timeline of tasks that they need to accomplish to be successful. We'll show you our coaching program and discuss any costs involved in getting enrolled. And we can determine if we can help you be thoroughly prepared and financially ready. Folks, we don't want to waste your time or ours. So I will tell you who we are not a fit to work with. So if your students are already in college and you have no younger students in high school, please do not schedule a meeting. Our program and processes are just not for families who got a late start. If you have students who are in middle school through high school, then we are potentially a good fit to work together. So if you have kids that are still in high school, even middle school, then that's for you. Then certainly set an initial family consultation with us. And during that initial family consultation, what you're going to find out is we're going to explain how we help students, how we work with families, how we help them succeed in this college process, how we help them save money. And we'll also find out about your family and your student, and that'll help us determine if we are a good fit to work together. Now, I'm going to leave my contact information up on the screen here for a minute. You'll see my direct phone line. You'll see my email, our website. Please visit our website and see our team, see our whole team, and read about us and find out how we help families succeed, how we help families save money in college. There's also a page that has written testimonials, and we even have some video testimonials on our website. Now, I encourage you that now is the time that you need to schedule that free one-on-one initial family consultation. Just click on the link below the video here, and that'll take you directly to our scheduling calendar, so you can do that. And after you have your initial family consultation, you'll get a college money report that's specific to your family and has all the colleges that you're interested in so that you can see what your true cost of college is at any colleges. And you'll also get a free download of my ebook when you schedule your consultation. So thank you for attending our workshop. Be sure to please click the link below the video here, and that will take you to our calendar page, and that will allow you to schedule your free initial family consultation. Thank you for showing up.